Oh my God, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry on the first episode of my own podcast. You know why?
Why?
Because when you played that song, Who Dat Girl, which is actually the introduction to Who Dat Girl T Rao, which is my Instagram account, which most people think is Who Dat Girl T Rao, because nobody knows how to pronounce my last name. When you played that on the podcast, I actually felt like I was like Ellen or Kathy Leonhoda when walking out to their own theme song before they begin their show. And, you know, being in a podcast room with two 20-something young men watching and judging me, it felt like a very similar experience to that. And that was a little emotional because I have my own podcast now, guys.
You do. You're just like Ellen.
I'm just like Ellen. I'm just like Minutes with Marco. And I got to say, from my perspective, from the Buttonista perspective, it feels like a long time coming, you know? I mean, we've been building Two Buttons Deep for a long time. Most of you who are listening to this podcast, I think I can actually address my mom directly at this point because she's the only one that will listen. You guys know about Two Buttons Deep, and you probably know about the Buttonista, which has grown a lot. We're trying to bring a little bit more fashion and lifestyle content to the capital region from my perspective. Against my own belief, I guess. I'm still coming to terms with it. People somehow actually care. And I know this because I posted a picture of my bathroom this morning and someone commented to my sarcastic caption that I said nobody cares about my bathroom, but I'm going to show you anyways. And someone said we all definitely want to see pictures of your bathroom. What do they want to see in there? I don't know. It's probably like a 30 square foot space in downtown Albany with no windows. However, they passed the test. They want to see pictures of my bathroom. They might want to listen to me on a podcast. But I might need a little help from them too, because Jack and Sam here in the room, no help. They don't know what I should talk about on this podcast.
But it's your podcast. Why would I tell you what to talk about on your podcast? Then it's just my podcast with you hosting it.
So I guess if I were to phrase that question to the followers of the Buttonista, who are a much more like-minded market, I would ask them, what do they want to see?
Well, that's a good question to start out with.
But I wanted to ask you first. I wanted to vet it. I wanted to get myself comfortable. I wanted to come down off the Who Dat Girl high and hear what you think as my producer.
Yep.
What do you want to see?
Well, first and foremost, anytime you need a high, just give me that wink and I'll play that song. And
like my heart is pounding right now because I feel like if this doesn't go well, to all of you that are listening, Mom, Jack's going to be like, you can't have a podcast.
But we can always do this.
When that song plays.
Just kidding. We can only do 7 seconds before we have to pay for copyright.
Damn. When that song plays, though, a podcast is possible. You know?
Yep.
And I feel good about this because there's a couple things that I do in my day-to-day life that translate very well to expressing my hot takes in a longer format where you can't see my face and I can't be judged for however I'm looking in an outfit picture that I'm trying to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of you might be familiar with the popular segment, popular according to me, Nobody Asked Me But, where I basically took all of my tweets and thoughts and random observations over the past several years, even prior to running Two Buttons Deep. And I would start with a blog. I would write them out. Jack said that it would be better in video format, so we tried that. But it was like kind of people's first clue into who I am on Two Buttons Deep, which we all struggle with as personalities, whether you're, I don't know, in something a little more mainstream or if you're on a growing outlet like Two Buttons Deep. There's a difference between being a personality, which I think in some ways can be taken for a character, and then being yourself. And people that have met me over the last couple of years, there's people that say, oh my God, you're just like I thought you would be. You're just like I see you in the videos. I recognize your voice and obviously you as a person. And then other people that I think believe that we are playing more of a character. And then that makes me go, what one am I being? Because I think that I'm pretty authentic. And Nobody Asked Me was me really kind of putting it out there, being a little bit more ballsy, saying things like, I want to burn every pair of ballet flats on the planet. And that just doesn't sit right with everybody. But that's part of the Buttonista's goal, is to bring more fashion-forward thinking, self-expression through fashion to the capital region where most of us know that doesn't really exist right now.
Why not?
I think there's a couple reasons why fashion isn't popping in the 518. One is that obviously there's this concept of major cities and fast fashion. So people are adapting trends in major cities before they bring them upstate. So like even the example of the Canada Goose jacket, everybody knows those, right? The puffy has like the signature logo on the side.
I heard it's a requirement to own one to live in New York City.
Exactly, because in New York City 5 or 6 years ago, every single person on the subway had one of those jackets. They also have a price ticket of like $1,500, but come maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they started popping up in the capital region. So everything is behind a little bit here.
Do you have one?
No.
Good.
I don't. I have a North Face that I spent way too much money on in college. I got my reimbursement check and I bought it for $500. And I still regret it, but I also have gotten my money's worth because I wear it all the time.
You spent $500 on a North Face?
But it wasn't my money. It was Ithaca College's like loan reimbursement money that
But
I was supposed to use to live on, actually.
Don't you pay them more money for giving you that money?
Yeah, I owe $82,000. So probably like 500 of that goes towards this coat that I'm still wearing. If it was a Canada Goose, though, I think I would have gotten a little bit more trend factor. However, my point, even people like me, and there's a lot of other great fashionistas in the 518 who I hope to shout out and bring on this podcast moving forward, we are the trendsetters in the sense that like we'll go to New York City and we'll see the trend and we'll bring it upstate and we don't care what anybody else thinks. The first time I went to London, every single girl that was commuting was wearing like Nike sneakers with a huge oversized like faux fur jacket. So all I wanted to do when I was in London is buy like a cool pair of Nikes, a cool pair of leggings, and wear a ridiculous faux fur coat. So I did it. I bought one from Zara. It's probably one of the first things I bought from Zara. And I came back upstate and I remember I wore it to the turkey trot and I just looked so out of place. I had like bright blue sneakers on, neon green leggings, a leopard print coat, and other people would just not do that. They're going to stick with the North Face and the Uggs. So the fashionistas, the buttonistas, it's our job to like pull that fashion upstate. And I think there's a lot of people doing it, which is great. That's why we started the Capital Region's Best Dress List. That's why I'm doing my thing on my own page. And that's why Jack and Sam are going to become the most fashionable men in the Capital Region with the help of people like me and Mark Thomas Men's Apparel.
I mean, I wouldn't put any investments on that happening, but you know, you're doing good things for the region. You
think?
Yeah.
Do you mean that?
Yeah.
Really? What am I doing?
Why are you challenging me on this?
Because I can tell when you're not being super authentic. He just said it.
No.
Just to say it.
I think some people think that.
Do you believe them?
Yeah.
Do you buy into it?
You appeal to a market.
Yes, and we're recording this podcast for a reason, right?
You also repeal to another market.
Which is absolutely fine, which actually goes back to my original point of nobody asked me but, where was the first time I kind of put out, this is who I am, these are my takes. And I think that segment kind of turned some people off, and that's for the better because I don't need them necessarily anyways. I need them to like fuel the fire and be haters a little bit. But then there was other people that would come up to me and give me really positive feedback being like, oh my God, you're hilarious. You say the stuff that nobody else would say. And I even look at it in my daily office job. Like people actually laugh when I talk and then you get excited and you start doing it. So hopefully as we figure out what we're doing here, we can bring in a little bit of that. And nobody asked me, but on this podcast will be a chance to take some of those hot takes that can seem polarizing where you love it or hate it after. And I can provide some reasoning and rationale, Dr. Phil it a little bit, and see what people think.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Walk
fine.
the walk. Don't just talk the talk.
This one I think everybody can agree with, but nobody asked me, but you know how celebrities change their names right before they get famous? They change their last name. I think that's something that the presidential candidates need to start doing because nobody with the last name Buttigieg is going to be president. It's cold hard facts.
President Buttigieg.
There's no way. President Sanders.
Edge.
President Sanders? Okay.
Yeah. Trump.
Okay.
Sanders.
Klobuchar?
Klobuchar.
You know, on Saturday Night Live, they called her Klobuchart. And that is not nice. But that's what they said. And, adult name calling is serious. We can't just act like kids being called names at school is an issue, right? People think about it when they name their young children.
Yes.
People don't name their young children thinking they're going to run for president someday.
I think you should, though.
But what if Pete Buttigieg was, I don't know.
Pete Bamf.
What? Badass mother.
Yeah.
Can you, if I say fucker, can we beep it? Or is that too much editing?
That's your call as a host of the podcast. Are we trying to appeal to the kids?
No, but I think beeps are exciting, just as exciting as me wearing headphones, because it provides a sense of legitimacy.
Sure.
Anyway, back to Pete. What would a cool last name for Pete Buttigieg be? I'm going to ask Sam.
Smith. Just basic.
I was going to say Smith, but I knew that was unoriginal.
Wait, what?
Pete Smith. But would you
Smith.
vote for Pete
Smith?
Smith?
But
What
that's
does he live at 123 Main Street in Applesville? That's the
Exactly.
lamest name of all time. You
Yeah.
need something badass motherfuckerish.
He
like
was
Banff.
Steve. He was
But
Steve
Sanders
Jobs.
and Trump is not badass motherfuckers.
Yes, it is. Trump.
George Bush.
Trump. You're going to trump the comp. You don't think that's a good presidential name? Trump?
It's
Sanders.
simple.
They're going to sand your ass out of the office. That's good. There's ways you can work with it. Buttigieg? How do you spell that again? That's all you get.
I texted it to Jack this morning as one of my examples, and I literally just like did like one of those keyboard smashes, and that guy's just not winning the race. He could be the most level-headed, sound, exciting presidential candidate. So I think to all the presidential candidates that are listening to this, think about your career, figure out what that pivotal moment is where a presidential run might be in your future, and change your last name. Do some paperwork, go to the county courthouse, position yourself for a better future, just like Ashton Kutcher did, just like people use their middle names as their first names.
Yeah, rewind a little bit. Who has done this?
This is where we need an actual producer that can Google something for me.
Sam
but
can do that.
I know Ashton Kutcher did it for sure.
Ashton Kutcher changed his last name.
or
what?
his first name.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was one or the other. I mean, there's a lot of
I mean, you
people
could
that
just
have
get
done it,
married
though.
and go with your partner's name.
I mean,
That's-
Lord. I mean, there's like the Lords and the Madonna. Like Lord, the singer who I love. Like her name is Ella Fitzgerald, but like she's Lord.
I
you
like
know?
that name, Ella Fitzgerald. Lord?
So Ashton Kutcher's name is actually Christopher, but like that's also very boring. He could have made it.
Well, we have our own local celebrity who did that.
Who?
Vic Christopher.
Oh, there you go. There's a little local tie-in to the Buttonista. His name is Christopher Cunningham,
Yes.
and he would be so disappointed that people are actually talking about that. Probably.
Yes.
Oh, Katy Perry's a good one. Like her last name was Hudson.
Katie Hudson.
Catherine Elizabeth Hudson.
That's a good name.
Miley
there already a
Cyrus's
Kate
name
Hudson?
is Destiny.
No.
Billy Ray would have never won his first Grammy if everybody knew he named his daughter Destiny first.
That's terrible.
It's terrible.
Destiny came out a few years ago when Wrecking Ball, and that's definitely a Destiny type move where she went bald. Right?
Oh, yeah, when she
And
twerked on Robin
it's
Thicke.
like when you have an alter ego.
Yeah, this is actually a good segue, though, to something else that I think is worthwhile talking about.
Well, I just have a last point. I
Okay.
don't know. I was doing my producer job here.
Oh, well, I was doing it for you, so whatever.
Oh, okay. It's Taylor
We'll figure it
Swift.
out on episode 2.
I was just wondering if we're over the Ashton Kutcher name change thing, or was I too late to?
Yeah, you're kind of late.
Okay.
Well, we actually have a lot of celebrity stuff to talk about because we have our first interview happening in this podcast with Carole Radziwill of The Real Housewives of New York City.
How'd you think it go?
How'd you think it go? Do you want to rephrase that and have another sip of your Guinness
How
after?
do you think it's gonna win?
I think it went okay.
Yeah.
There-
interview.
It was. I don't even think it was that. I think there were some technical difficulties that shot the confidence a little bit.
I mean, there were you don't think there were. There were.
There were what?
They hung technical difficulties.
No, I just said there were.
Well, you said you thought, and I'm confirming that they weren't just thoughts; they were happenings.
Well, then I kind of thought halfway. I was like, maybe Jack will edit it so people don't realize that. But I'm here to be real with the people. My phone just wouldn't work. I have Sprint. I'm very poor, and it's how I afford my Rent the Runway membership by having a low-cost mobile carrier. But I had to call Carole back like 3 times during our interview, so we kind of got caught. We had to ask each other questions a couple different times. But there was one positive. I
What's
did
that?
get her personal cell phone number.
You did.
So if I need to call her again, I could accidentally butt dial her. I could send her a you up text. I could reconfirm what her skincare routine is. But she's a journalist, so she likes to ask questions too. You guys will hear it. But she was also very chatty. I don't know. I was kind of playing it cool on getting a word in. I didn't want to interrupt her. She was kind of on these trains of thought. But I think all in all, you'll listen to it. You'll hear some good sound bites. She talked about anything from like skincare to the new instrument that she's picking up, which I found quite fascinating as a 56-year-old woman.
Yes.
Her, not me. But really,
You used to play an instrument too,
I did. I played the baritone. That's how I met Jack.
so you guys have 2 things in common.
We're so in common. We're both blonde. We're both journalists. Someone has millions of dollars and someone doesn't. But you'll have to listen to the interview to find out who has $1 million and who doesn't.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But that's not who I want to talk about first. I want to talk about my doppelganger. Someone else's words, not mine. Multiple people corroborated. Lady Gaga has a new boyfriend.
Ooh,
And
saw that.
her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend is what we would call in England a commoner. She's a commoner.
Commoner?
A commoner.
Commoner?
Yeah, but I said it in a British accent.
Like common folk?
Common folk. She's actually a senior editor for the New York Times, so she's a little above a common person.
That's a little, yeah.
She posted an article in the New York Times that said, my boyfriend's new girlfriend is Lady Gaga. My ex-boyfriend's new Gaga.
Okay.
So she was literally eating grapes from the bodega at her desk at work, and her friends were texting her, "Are you okay? Check Facebook, check Twitter," and she sees pictures of her ex with Lady Gaga. How does that happen? How?
Do you know what he does? Was he a common folk? A common folk?
A commoner. That's what you
Oh,
said.
a commoner.
A commoner.
A commoner.
Why can you not say it right?
Commoner.
She doesn't follow her ex on social media, blah, blah, blah.
Can we just backtrack? You said your doppelganger's Lady Gaga?
So after...
Someone else said that, not Taylor.
So, and I don't like it. I'm not like bragging about
Why
it
not?
or anything. I don't think she's particularly attractive. I think she's very...
I mean, you don't have her nose. That's a plus.
So exactly. So why would people think I look like her? I think it's a combination of my voice being a little bit lower. I think I actually might have her nose, which I think is unfortunate, and that's why people say it. But even before A Star Is Born came out, and then afterwards for like 6 months, anywhere from like the nail salon, in line at the coffee shop, at the airport, at work, people would go, do you know who you look like? I'm like, yes, but hold on. Can you sing? And I'd be like, no, I can hardly talk without losing my voice. Have you seen that movie? And she's a singer, and she's a little bit at a disadvantage, and she meets this guy, and I'm like, A Star Is Born. And they're like, yes, you remind me of Lady Gaga. And I kind of wasn't like thrilled about that at first, because I think she's, I don't know, she's not like...
What's wrong with her?
If you said I looked like Margot Robbie, I would like fall on the floor. But like,
Yeah,
when
but you
say,
don't.
No, I know. I don't look like Margot Robbie. But that would be a
But what's wrong
compliment.
with Lady Gaga?
I don't think she's that attractive. So people are saying I don't think you're that attractive.
I see it now, like post disco stick phase, like with the Star Is
Post
Born.
meat dress. I put her
We
like
gotta
her before death, after death, like God and Jesus is like post meat dress.
Yep.
I could see why people are saying that after.
So why?
A Star Is Born, like, because she was just like natural blonde, and she looks like a normal person in that movie. Before,
yeah, she looks like a commoner as well.
When she started Poker Face and Disco Stick, she was kind of like off.
That was her
spectrum
peak.
a little bit.
A little more crazy. And listen, I have nothing but respect for her because she's like super artistic, super smart. She went to NYU. She's classically trained. So all of that is a compliment. But I literally hear it all the time, and I don't see it. But
Oh, no, I see it for sure.
Really?
Yep, looking side by side. You couldn't look more like her. You should call her up, take a 23andMe.
No, I'm not taking a 23andMe.
Why not?
She's not my twin.
I
That's
bet
another nobody asked
y'all
me for
are
another
pretty
time.
close on the lineage.
Wait, you started this acting like it was crazy that anybody ever said that to me.
No, play it back. I said I agreed with you. I said I can see it, and then I looked side by side, and now I'm questioning if your mom's really your mom.
I think my mom's my dad. My mom. I don't know if my dad's my
Wait,
dad.
you think your mom's your dad?
No, I think my mom's the Guinness is really hitting me, guys. This not sponsored. What's the alcohol content in a Guinness?
Enough for you to not be able to read
It's
it.
like 4%. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I have been tripping a little on my words. But I'm also nervous. I heard Who Dat Girl. I got emotional like Kathy Lee and Hoda. But the question I want to pose is, if your ex started dating like a major celebrity, because it could happen to any of us. I mean, this girl was living probably a somewhat private life as an editor for the New York Times. We're doing what we're doing. If your ex was dating, I don't know, what would the celebrity be that would like really gut you guys?
Like in a bad
Like, who do
way?
you have a crush on as like a celebrity?
Like if
Margot
my ex
Robbie?
started
Like John Hamm or...
if my ex started dating Shawn Mendes,
Oh my God.
I would be so heartbreakingly jealous of her that I'd probably commit my first murder.
If my boyfriend started dating, like if any gender started dating Shawn Mendes after they dated you, I don't want to say what you should do because it's hotline worthy, but like you should do that.
Yeah.
Because that would be devastating.
You should call the hotline.
You should call the hotline.
Not advising anything, call the hotline first.
No, just call the hotline, yeah. Sam, who would it be for you?
Like if my ex was dating a celebrity guy.
Yeah, did I need to say that another time? I thought we were pretty clear.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, Kevin Hart, The Rock.
What?
Those would be some cool celebrities to be Eskimo Bros with. And I don't know like the PG
Oh,
rating.
you're looking at this as a positive?
Yeah, I'm like,
What?
I'm Eskimo Bros with The Rock. Like, let's go. Or Eskimo Cousins, whatever you call it. Eskimo Bros. But yeah.
Eskimo Brothers.
Eskimo Brothers, yeah. So
But
like
wouldn't you just feel so... Like, this girl, obviously they were compatible. She was posting pictures of her and her ex at a wedding. Like, and if
It's just tough to see someone you were once on a common ground with get the glow up like that.
Right. It's the glow up.
Yeah.
It's the glow up. Where Sam thinks that would be an advantage.
It's not the person, it's the glow up. Because no matter, even if they break up tomorrow, he's Lady Gaga status.
Right.
Oh, Neymar? Oh, it would definitely be Neymar now that I think about it.
Who's that?
The best soccer player in the world. But this is the Buttonista show. I won't take that away from you.
Yeah, I mean, we really can't be talking about that, you know. You know what we can be talking about, though?
What?
Is my dream sponsor.
So they're not sponsoring us.
No, so we're not sponsored yet.
But.
We're faux sponsored by Guinness.
Yes.
But on this podcast, I want to pitch my dream sponsor.
Let's hear it.
So that one day, I can get sponsored by my dream sponsor.
I'm ready.
And I'm only bringing this one up because Jack's on the podcast, and I don't know how long he's going to be on here, but I want to talk about the Quip toothbrush. For the slim, nothing out of your wallet price of just $40, you can have a sleek metal electric toothbrush in any color that you like. They have the AIDS campaign red, they have gold, they have silver, they have charcoal, whatever you want. They have even an all black one now that looks a little weird because the bristles are black too. But this is an electric battery powered toothbrush. There's no charger, there's no extra stuff. You know, I hate extra stuff on my counters, don't I?
Yeah.
How much do I hate extra stuff on my counters?
You don't have anything on your counters. That's how much.
Yeah, the Buttonista has a little bit of OCD. However, if you can brush your toothbrush every day on an electric basis without having to charge it, you can look cool AF for the gram, and you never have to buy toothpaste or a replacement head ever again because it gets delivered to you. So just kidding, you have to buy it. It just gets delivered to you.
Glad you realize that.
You don't have to go to the store. It's basically free.
Oh.
It's like $4 every 3 months.
Yeah.
And I get a new brush head. I don't like saying the word head, but anyways, a battery and a new thing of toothpaste if you want to pay $10 like me. If you're a peasant, you only pay
so you're
$4.
paying $14.
No, 10.
But you just said 4 for the
Right,
brush.
but it's 10 for everything.
Okay.
It's like 4 for just the head.
Well, that's different.
And when I first got this toothbrush, Jack wrote a blog that was like things Taylor spends too much money on. And he dissed my toothbrush. Little did he know there was a $25 version that's plastic. But we don't do plastic here on the Buttonista podcast. We do metal. We do golds, silvers, neutral tones. We don't do like a teal toothbrush. We just can't have that. It doesn't look good in the makeup bag.
Let's go back to the fact you said it's good for the gram. Are you posting yourself brushing your teeth?
I did. I actually posted an Instagram story on the Buttonista podcast that said, you have taken a mirror picture while brushing your teeth. Yes? No?
And what was the result? Have you, Sam?
Absolutely not.
Have I ever taken
You are
a
such
photo?
a liar.
Oh,
You are both lying.
I only took one photo of me brushing my teeth because I was using my girlfriend's toothbrush, and I just had to let her know. 'Cause I
that's
lost
mean.
mine.
No, I'm going to tell
gross,
you, if you
second
look,
of all. That's
we can
gross.
talk, but check your camera roll. Tell me that you've never taken a picture of yourself brushing your teeth.
No.
No.
No. I think maybe once with each girlfriend I've had, I've taken like a couple,
Like getting ready pics?
more like going to bed pic, but yeah.
Oh,
What do you mean? going to bed?
Papicholo over
You
here.
don't,
Actually,
wait,
I have
do you
a hot-
brush your teeth before you
No.
go to bed? What?
Ew.
No.
That's so gross.
Oh
Think of
my
everything
gosh.
that goes in your mouth throughout the day just
There's a-
marinating in your teeth overnight.
All right, never say the word marinating in that context ever again.
Marinating.
And not with that kind of vigor. Like, we can't have. That's not what this podcast is for. I know we don't know what it's for yet, but it's definitely not for that. So let's just be super, super clear. And this podcast is unfortunately not for ASMR.
Let me you want a toothbrush to sponsor your podcast, but you don't even brush your teeth the proper amount
Yeah,
of
what
times
the
a
hell?
day?
56% of people said that they have taken a picture while brushing their teeth. 44% said no.
Cool.
So I'm winning. And I don't brush my teeth at night. And every time I go to the dentist, aside from 2 buttons deep, aside from me as a human, they treat my grill like I'm a celebrity. I have fantastic teeth. I take the best care of them. They are the best teeth in the world. They also have TMJ, but they are taken care of. And they're amazing. And my dentist loves me and loves what my gum health is all about. They love my alignment. And they love that I don't brush my teeth at night. So I'm not going to start now.
They've told you that they love that?
I've heard, like, I was brushing too hard. I know people care about this, so I'm going to really dive in. I know people care about my dental care. I brush hard. You know, I put a lot.
Is that why you have TMJ?
I do a lot other than, but no, I brush hard, and that hurts your gums. And once your gums start to, like, recede and deteriorate, they don't grow back, right? It's like Marco over there on the top of his head.
It's like a hairline, yeah.
Exactly. So if I need to A, use like a softer brush, and B, honestly, once a day is like, okay, I've heard.
Really?
I don't have a source for exactly where I've heard that, but like, you're just going to bed and I brush them in the morning.
Yeah, and your teeth are marinating in your day's activities.
But what do you leave stuck in your teeth? You're not Joe Jonas at the freaking Super Bowl or whatever.
Good pop culture reference, but
It wasn't the
literally
Super Bowl.
anything. Everything you eat gets compressed into those crevices.
Oh my God. These buzzwords are not buzzwords that we will use on this podcast moving forward.
Deal.
So you brush your teeth at night.
I try. I do my best to.
I brush my teeth about 3 to 4 times a day.
Oh my God.
I have mouthwash in my locker.
He does.
I
He
have
did ask
gross.
me. He
It's
did
gross.
ask me for mouthwash the other day. You cannot do that. I swear to God, I'm not even joking. You should not be brushing your teeth 3 to 4 times a day.
What's the downside to doing that?
You're
Your
gonna
gum-
get a
your-
receding gum
Yeah,
line.
there's things in your mouth that just don't come back. Like, there's just don't come back. You cannot do that. I would say twice would be the maximum. How dare you sneeze on my podcast?
Bless you, Jack, as a good friend would say as someone sneezes.
If you sneeze more than 3 times, you're doing it for attention. And that was twice, so
I'm
you're
gonna
on watch.
conceal it.
You're on watch.
I know.
Yeah, you can't be doing 3 to 4 times a day. But what you can do is brush your teeth with a Quip. Quip, if you want to sponsor me, let me know. You sent me a damaged package the other day, and I tweeted at you, and you sent me a new one for free.
That was the best ad read you've ever done for free.
That was the dream sponsor, people. Thank you very much. Round of applause for the buttonista, who is...
We can do the effects on that, can't we? Isn't there a clapping?
It's on here somewhere.
Oh my God! I don't even need to
That's
be
all
on
you
TV. Wow, this is like I'm hyping myself up, I know, but this is really fun. One more personal hygiene question until we get into our interview with Carole Radziwill from the New York City Housewives. It's kind of related to brushing your teeth twice a day. It's more related to a little something going around called the coronavirus. Don't want to dwell on it, but have been doing my research, have been trying to be, a better person and keep myself healthy. We have a business to build here. This is the Buttonista podcast. We need me around for it, I think. I read you were supposed to be washing your hands for how many seconds a day, boys? I want to hear it.
How many seconds a day or how many
No,
seconds
not
per
a day.
time?
Sorry, per time.
Per time?
Something stupid.
I think
How many
it's like
seconds?
90 seconds with like warm water.
What?
That's ridiculous.
That's outrageous.
You would literally lose your job if you were not washing your hands for 90
Yeah.
seconds. Jack, what's your
Everyone
guess?
would think you were pooping. I would say.
Which you're not. You're just wearing a
I would
bodysuit.
say 30 seconds.
So it's 20 seconds.
That's good. In and out.
So I tried it.
Yeah.
I've been trying it the past 2 days. So we're about probably 30 hours into trying washing your hands for 20 seconds. And it is impossible.
Every time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's hard. You have to reapply soap like 3 or 4 times to just keep the 20 seconds going. I think it's 2 happy birthdays. That's what I've also heard.
I have heard that.
But 20 seconds is an insanely long time. And I think everybody that goes to the bathroom at work is subject to the are you pooping kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. You're on the clock once you get up.
But people, especially here at the garage where we record our podcast, it's single stall bathroom, Stewart style, vacant, not vacant. Brilliant move for any business owner. Please instate that. It's very important to me and everyone that potentially goes to the bathroom alone, as I like to call it. But being in there for 20 seconds, washing your hands, even when you don't poop, you feel like you're in there for a lifetime. And then you got to dry. You got to make sure everything's all set for the next person. And if that's the key between not getting coronavirus and potentially getting affected, I can't promise that I'm going to be safe. I don't have that kind of time.
No. You got coronavirus to battle.
No, exactly. I can't be washing my hands for 20 seconds. Do you wash your hands every time you go to the bathroom?
Absolutely not. No.
Do you touch your peen when you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
You do.
Yes.
See, I checked some other sources this morning and they said they don't.
Okay, well, they must not have a peen. Because if anything, you should be washing your hands as you go into the bathroom before you touch your peen. Because think of everything I touched before the day. But I'm just in this mind state that I am okay with encountering dirty things. I've always been a dirty person. I've never been like I've never washed my hands.
Ever.
And I've always just like touched things and like I shower.
You have
Like
a
I'm
hygiene problem.
hygienic, but I'm like okay with being dirty and it doesn't affect me. Like if I get coronavirus on my hands, I'm confident in my body
Oh my God.
that I will be okay.
I feel like washing your hands is kind of a scam. Like I've always said, germs are character builders.
Exactly.
You know, I'm a very positive person and I
Thank
like to
you.
see the good in things. So I wouldn't worry about like a porta potty or like a toilet seat necessarily. Like I'll clean it up if like there's something, you know, that stands out to me.
Yeah.
In the bathroom.
If I can see something on my hand, I'll clean it.
I meant like even like on the toilet seat. You guys don't have to deal with that as much as, you know, the ladies that will join this podcast
Wait,
later.
how do you what?
You're not going to the bathroom alone in public that much.
I'm so confused.
Alone, if you go to the bathroom alone, that means you're pooping.
Or as opposed to what?
It's more like if you're in a couple situation, like my sister made it up because she would always, her boyfriend would be in the bathroom and she would just barge in and like start doing her makeup or like grab a hairbrush and he'd be like, Brooke, I have to go to the bathroom alone. And she'd be
Okay.
like, oh, okay, like I'll leave. So now it's like, especially like we talked about it on our squadcast, but like the morning after drinking, like maybe you go to a diner and you're like, babe, like what do you want to do? And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom alone. Like we actually have to get back to like the hotel, apartment, wherever, like immediately because I have to go to the bathroom alone. So that's all I mean.
Do you know what my girlfriend and I say
What?
when we have to go to the bathroom alone?
It's probably gross. What?
No, we have to go drop the kids off at school.
That's so
They do say
lame.
that.
That's so lame. I hate cliches so much.
Sorry, my poop references aren't cool enough for you, Taylor.
But like, does she laugh? Like, does that ensue like
Yeah,
a giggle?
It's like, I gotta go. I mean, not maybe the first couple
Yeah,
times,
like
but
what
now it's
happens?
just like,
Wait, what happens when you're older and you have kids and you have to bring them to school?
well, at least one time we'll be confused and be like, oh, I thought you told me you were dropping them off.
Actually, there was a viral
I just
video.
had a
What? Hold on. There was a viral video of a lady that filmed herself, and she was at her kid's school, and she was like, "I forgot my kids," and she drove to school, and she forgot to put them in the car.
I feel like I'm gonna do that, and
Yeah, because you're gonna be pooping.
yeah. No, because my wife's going to be like, I'm dropping the kids off, and I'm like, boom, I'm on my way. And then they're just in the basement playing video games.
Oh my God. What were you gonna say, Sam? I'm sorry.
You guys don't poop with your significant other in the bathroom?
No, I would not do that.
Oh my God.
You do?
Did.
What?
What? Is that not normal?
That's gross.
No.
That's gross.
Girls take forever to put their makeup on, and then what else? Other option do I have? Like, I gotta go.
Yeah, but how long are you in the bathroom for when you're going?
When
to
you're
the bathroom
going alone with other people.
When I'm dropping the kids off?
Yeah. How long does it take you to drop the kids off?
By the time I'm scrolling on my feed and stuff and on my phone, like 30 minutes. But
Oh, yeah, I gave Sam a new job because we're paying him, but he's not doing the quota that we gave him. So now he
shots
is
fired.
getting a social media post for us every day, and he's going to source them while he's in the bathroom alone every morning.
As long as you wash your hands when you use that phone to text us, I'm okay with that.
I don't care. It's his phone, not mine.
I Cloroxed my phone today, and I'm going to continue to do that in the meantime. But I don't think you should be going to the bathroom with your significant other. Going like pee is fine. I don't like saying that either, but
Yeah, but you can't drop the kids off to school in front of someone.
no, that's a solo
That's
job.
like a fetish thing that
not
you
a
guys have
fetish,
going
it's
on.
just-
But it smells.
Yeah, that's gross.
Like my boyfriend's really nice, and he'll literally always ask me like, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" And if he says that, I know that he has to, so he at least makes sure that like,
Yeah,
if I have to go,
courtesy.
like that's very nice of him, you know. But I also know that like depending on what we're doing, like he might want like 25 minutes in there, or he'll be like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom quick," and I'm like, "What is quick?"
Oh,
Like,
so you got the whole lingo down.
yeah, so we got it down. And I think that's very important. I don't know how much couple advice or anything like that we'll get into on the Buttonista. We might keep it a little more like trending, topical, but we'll see what questions you guys have. And if this gets brought up, we have some ammo. We're ready to go. But you know who's also ready to go?
Who?
My girl, Carole, from The Real Housewives of New York City. She is a New York Times bestselling author. She's a 3-time Emmy Award winner, a journalist, an all-around fantastic lady. She's got a killer skincare routine, and we talked to her in preparation for the Buttonista's first big hosting event March 7th at Universal Preservation Hall. It's called An Evening with the Celebrity Housewives. I don't know why they didn't include the Buttonista in that. It's an evening with the Celebrity Housewives and the Buttonista. Thanks for listening. I hope I passed the test and there's another one of these.
Okay, so before we start, Taylor, what does 2 buttons mean?
Alrighty, so 2 Buttons Deep is a digital entertainment website. We're based in upstate New York, and going 2 buttons deep means that you're loose, you're having fun, you're physically a couple buttons deep on your shirt, drinking your favorite drink with your favorite people. Probably something the housewives are very familiar with, the concept of going 2 buttons deep, I would imagine.
I think the housewives, they go about 4 buttons deep.
Well, anything, what we say about 2 buttons deep, we pick 2 buttons deep and 2 buttons as the appropriate number because we think anything more than 3 buttons deep is best left off the internet.
Yeah.
Or should probably be aired on Bravo.
You're right, exactly. So Bravo is definitely 4 buttons in. That's funny.
I love that. And I love that
funny.
you started asking me a question because I know your background. You're an Emmy Award winner, a New York Times bestselling author. You are used to asking people questions all the time in your professional work. So it's funny to flip the switch sometimes, but I'm sure you've also been used to being interviewed for years as well.
I'm used to both now, but I do tend to ask some questions when I'm being interviewed, much to the dismay of the interviewer, perhaps, sometimes.
Oh, no, we love it. But I want to know, how did you start your day? What have you been up to prior to this call right now? Because I want to know what your life is.
Okay, well, my best friend, my closest friend for over 20 years, started a e-commerce beauty site called Violet Grey about 8 years ago, of which I am an editor at large since its inception. So she was here this morning. She flew in from LA and we had a girls' night and she stayed over and we woke up this morning. I made her 2 hard-boiled eggs and oatmeal and we discussed a rollout of some products and this product, this new thing I'm going to be doing for the site, giving product recommendations, Radzivill's favorites and skincare and makeup and beauty and health. So that's what we were doing. And then I just finished practicing my flute for about a half an hour. Probably should have been an hour, but I started flute lessons a few weeks ago.
Really? Was that a Lizzo inspiration?
Well, I played flute when I was little, like at 4th grade to about until college. So but I haven't picked it up in 3 decades. So I just thought, I don't know. I just wanted to do something that was not sort of work related. I'm really annoyed at myself that I've managed to live all these decades and don't really have a hobby. So now flute is my hobby. No, I also say skincare is my hobby, but flute is my hobby. So,
wow, those are 2 good hobbies. I actually just watched your skincare routine, your get ready in 2 minutes or less. There was a headline that said your 2-minute routine is an $817 routine, which the Buttonista over here, I can't quite afford that. But I did see one of your pieces of advice at my age is to be consistent, which I always say, and to just do the best with what you can afford, right? Are you there? Carole?
Yeah.
We keep losing each other.
That's so crazy.
But now I think...
Okay, we're good now, right?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. I just want to know about your skincare routine. I saw some videos of you online. You're super into skincare. Tell me about your skincare routine.
Well, skincare is my hobby other than playing flute. My skincare, I've always been someone who took good care of their skin. Even when I was a kid and up and through my 20s, I didn't have any money, to spend on products. I would, save up and buy the best products I could buy at the time.
Right.
And I remember when I finally could afford Clinique, the yellow cream, I was so excited.
Oh yeah.
So it's always been, remember that? It was so it's always kind of been, it's like a little side passion of mine. And, when my best girlfriend created the site Violet Grey, which is a high-end e-commerce beauty site, it sort of this like perfect fit of her business and passion and my hobby coming together. So now I really, am into products. Do you want to know my whole morning and evening routine?
No, I get the idea. I think
because
that's
it's
good.
a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I try to keep it simple. I don't, I don't believe in layering a lot of products, but like, at night, I always wash my face, always moisturize my face. Even like I remember late nights and my, from work after work at ABC in my 20s and 30s and going out at night in my late 30s and 40s, I would always come home and wash my face and moisturize. That was like, no matter how tired I was or drunk or whatever, I would do that. So I'm very consistent with it. So I would say in terms of skincare, use the best products you could afford, but more importantly, you have to be consistent.
So the reason why I'm talking to you is because I am hosting this event that's coming up in Saratoga on March 7th.
Right.
Which I'm super, super excited about. Have you done one of these before?
Yes, I think I've done 2, but I'm not 100% sure.
And what
I might have only done.
What am I getting myself into?
I'm supposed to consult you.
Well, now that I know you guys are going to be 4 buttons deep and I'm only going to be 2 buttons deep, maybe.
Well, no. That's the thing about this show, and I was never 4 buttons deep, which made it impossible sometimes for me to do that show. It's actually fun. There'll be predetermined. I mean, the audience writes down questions and they give them to you, and you ask us what they are interested in hearing about. I don't know. I've never worked with Caroline, and I did work with Brandy, I think, once. I don't mind any question. Like, there's no question that I wouldn't feel comfortable answering in some way. So that's fine for me. I don't know about the other women, whether, there's some things that they don't like talking about. I know, they have children, and some of them, they don't want to talk about their children.
Right.
So it's like that, but pretty much with me, you can just ask me anything. And I'm pretty open, and it's pretty fun. It's not it's sort of gotcha thing. I think they're all fans. They're all excited to meet and greet. So they just want to know about the show and a little behind the scenes and what we were doing in our real life. And so in that respect, it's a funny thing.
Right. I have to ask because I'm all about fashion and style. Do you have your outfit picked out yet? Do you know what you're going to wear?
No, absolutely not. I'm not, it's funny on the show, it does come across that, I have a certain style that's sort of, been with me, but I don't really focus too much on clothes or fashion. I just think I wear what I like and feel comfortable in. And I think on that show, I appeared much more stylish than the other women because they would dress nice, but there's certain thing. There's a difference between like having a nice outfit, and being dressed in head to toe Gucci, and then having style. Style is something different, and I think the audience captured my sense of style because it was a little off center.
Oh, I like that. And have you ever been to Saratoga before, where this next show is? Have you explored that area? And
of course, I've been there. First of all, I practically grew up upstate New York, and right Saugerties, which is right outside, outside Woodstock, in that area. And if you recall, very famously, RHONY went to Saratoga racetrack.
Yes, I remember that.
And I had been there because my grandpa was a big handicapper. He lost every penny he ever made, plus some, betting on the horses. And so every summer he would pile all the grandkids in his station wagon. We'd all go to Saratoga racetrack so he could lose all his money on the. And he didn't lose it as much as parlay it into the next race.
Wow. Of course, I'm sure that's what he told you.
Yes, and then so of course, so then we went. I had some sort of understanding about horse racing and betting. So I was the one that put together the bet, which, if you recall, it was a box trifecta. And I picked the 3 horses, and it came, and we won. It didn't come in first, second, and place, but the 3 horses that I picked came in the top 3. So since I boxed it, I very smartly boxed it instead of just did a trifecta where you had to pick the winner, the second place, and the third place. We won. I think we won like $3,000.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
But
Saratoga's.
that was Grandpa DeFalco and me
Wow.
channeling Grandpa.
Of course. Yeah. And I actually had an opportunity to meet Dorinda in Saratoga not too long ago. She hosted an event for a magazine cover. She was on Saratoga Living magazine. And I got to interview her. And we did something where we go 10 really quick questions deep. So I rapid fire asked her a bunch of questions. She has obviously roots here as well from growing up as a kid. So it's cool to know that the New York stars of the Housewives are familiar with upstate. And you growing up in Saugerties, I have a very important question to ask you. We ask all of our guests this on Two Buttons Deep. Where do you think upstate New York really begins?
Well, I mean, okay, I got to be total honesty now. I grew up, I spent half my time in Saugerties and half my time in Rockland County. And I say, when people ask, where did you grow up? I say upstate New York. And then they'll say, oh, where? And I'll say Suffern and also Saugerties. And everyone would say, Suffern, Rockland County isn't upstate. But let me just tell you, when I was living there in the 60s and the 70s, it was very much upstate compared to New York City. So my sense of what upstate is, obviously it's changed over the years, but when I was growing up, upstate was, anywhere, 45 minutes or an hour outside New York City, because it was country,
Right.
And but now, more perspective, and it's I would say upstate starts around exit probably. I would say exit 17 Newburgh or 19 Kingston. That's what I would say. Exit 19 of the New York State Thruway.
Good. I'll accept that answer. We get it all over the map.
But do you remember in Sex and the City when Carrie Bradshaw had a boyfriend, Aiden, I think? He made furniture, and he had a house in the country in upstate New York. And where was that house? In Suffern.
So that is upstate. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah,
If pop culture is referencing it.
Yeah, and they made fun of her suffering and it was funny.
That's a good one. Are you a New York girl for life? Do you love the New York City lifestyle, or could you see yourself coming back upstate?
I would love to someday own a house, a weekend house, like a lake house or some small lake cabin in upstate New York. I love upstate. I think if I had a weekend home, it would be in upstate. It would not be. A lot of people here go to the Hamptons and Long Island, but I still have a great affinity for upstate, and I go there as much as I can. But I'm New York. I came to New York City when I was 18 or 19 in college, and I never left. So I consider myself a New Yorker, and I've always loved the city. My parents used to drive us into the city on the weekends. We would stay in the city on the weekends and then in the country and during the week. And I just kind of fell in love with it as a young girl. And I knew that someday I wanted to come back and create a life in New York as only you can, kind of reinvent yourself. And I did that. So I love New York. To me, it's home. So it's very convenient. It's very, I just came back from LA, and being in LA makes me so anxious.
Really?
It's odd. Yes, I get very anxious. It just doesn't work as a city. The GPS doesn't work. The phones don't work. You go constantly getting cut off in the hills, and I never know east to west, north to south. Someone said if you're facing the mountains, that's north. I was like, okay, well, if I can't see the mountains, I have no idea where I am. It gives me a lot of anxiety. But once I can't stay away from New York too long. And when I come back and I land, I just feel like, whew, just feel calm.
Which is crazy because it's one of the busiest,
which
craziest
is,
cities.
I think seems counterintuitive to a lot of people, but if you think about it, New York is so convenient. It's so you have your neighborhood, and it's usually like 5 blocks in every direction from your apartment, and I don't know. I can't imagine living anywhere else, especially as a single person.
Right. How do you live life as a single person in New York? Just a lot of options? Do you get online? Do you go out and about?
You're out all the time. You're out of your house. When I did live in LA for 4 years, and I had a really adorable house in like Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, but the problem there was I never left the house. Nobody leaves their house, so it's like you want to go out and just be out and see people, strangers, and you have to make a plan and make an effort and get in your car and drive, and in New York is just does so much of the work for you, because there are the people right outside your door. There are the restaurants and the cafes and museums and galleries and movies. It's all here. You don't have to go far. I guess New York is kind of like for lazy people that don't want to make plans or get in a car. It's like sometimes I just feel like, if you're home, and I work from home a lot, writing and working, and it's just nice to just get out, walk out of your apartment and go for a walk around the block and see strangers and people and just feel like, okay, I've got
something out of your day.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
So I don't know. I like it. I don't want to be one of those like New York girls who hates LA. It's not about that. There's some things about LA I like. I can't quite think of it right now, but
right. No, sure, you're a New York girl. It's just within you.
Yeah.
But listen, we're going to talk a lot about, obviously, when you're here in March, about Housewives and your experience there.
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit, if you could tell me about what you've been up to since you left the show. I know you left to produce and write more. You're working, on your skincare and your flute, but what are some of those big projects that you have going on? I know a few of them, but just talk a little bit about what that transition has been like.
It's been a year and a half since I left the show, and I must say it's been. I'm a worker. I've worked since I was 14 years old. I worked, put myself through college. I've worked, I've always had a career, whether it was journalism and then publishing, and then I did the reality show for 6 years. And I've really taken the last year and just kind of figured out what is that I really want to do. I want, I want to set myself up for like something. Now is like an opportunity for me to just do something completely different. People ask if I want to go back to journalism, and I think about it a lot, but ultimately I don't. I did that and I loved it, and I did it for 14, almost 15 years, and it was great, but I feel like that's behind me. So right now I'm focusing, and I've pitched a lot of shows on focusing on scripted drama. And it's funny because I gave an interview to a tabloid magazine, and I said, well, I'm not going to do reality anymore. Reality is behind me. I'm more interested in scripted television. I was talking about scripted television, and the whole article came back saying that I was now going to be an actress.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't occur to me that the reporter didn't realize that I was saying, no, I want to write scripted shows. I want to create them, own them, produce them. That's where I sort of am headed. And I have two great books with so much material, and my second one was a novel. So I'm kind of working on adapting that into a TV series. And my memoir, which I never optioned as a film or a TV show because it was really personal. I'm looking at that material again, and it's been 20 years since it was published. Almost not 20 years. It's been 20 years since my husband passed away, and that life for me ended. So it's like the first time since that book was published in 2005 that I really started thinking about maybe using that story in a different medium, whether it be film or TV or even a play. So I don't know. It's a sort of exciting time to just think of something totally out of the box. And of course, I'm taking my flute lessons, and I hope to be in like some jazz band by the end of the year. That's my goal.
Really? I think Lizzo might need you as a second flute player. I mean,
What?
she's Lizzo, who's taking the world by storm
You
with
know,
her
I
flute
know.
playing.
I'm going to admit something. When I tell people I'm taking flute lessons that I played when I was a kid, and I picked it up again, everyone says, "Oh, like Lizzo," and this is really pathetic of me, but I didn't. I kind of had this general idea who Lizzo was, but I didn't understand that she also played the flute in her act, and the fact that she's a truly classically trained flautist. So there you go. There's something I learned. I was just taking lessons again because I had taken lessons and played as a kid.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's so cool to see you on this, I mean, third or fourth act in your career. You've done so many different things. I noticed that you had posted.
I can't hear you again.
Oh, really? I'm trying to move. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There's bad connection now.
Okay. I'm going to ask that question again then. You know, it's so cool to see you in this third, maybe even fourth act of your career. And I had noticed that you posted the J-Lo meme that was going on after the Super Bowl. That was like women in their 50s back then and women in their 50s now. And, you know, as someone that's younger, like I see myself similarly, I've always worked, had a million different jobs and a million different things. What is that like, kind of taking on a whole nother step in your career at this age and being one of those also age-defying women that people, they can't believe that you've accomplished so much and are still ready to go out and do more, very much like a Kathy Lee Gifford or, you know, any of those women out there that continue to achieve?
Well, I mean, there is a part of me that would like to retire. And
I would think so.
I've got to be honest.
Right.
But, you know, listen, I'm a single girl with bills. And not only that, but I've always organized my life around some work passion, whether it was writing or journalism or reality show or something. So it is, you know, listen, I would never, if you had said 20 years ago that I would be, you know, in my 50s and then reinventing myself and starting a whole new career, I would think that would seem odd. But here I am, and there is definitely a shift in perception of age, and I think you saw that in the J-Lo Rue McClanahan meme, because that was very that provoked a lot of conversation, and if you look at women who are now in their late 40s and 50s, it's a completely different time and different generation than even my parents. You know, I mean, my mom is 76, and she looks like she's 60. She looks very young, and she's still very, you know, curious about things in life, and always, you know, going to this play and that play, and museums and travel. So she, you know, she's always, you know, she's always in that way. She's continuing to live kind of like what you would consider like a younger lifestyle. So maybe part of it is genetic, but I just think there are just some women who are just trying to shift the perception of age, you know, when it pertains to women, you know, in their late 40s and going into their 50s. It's actually an amazing age.
Yeah, I think that is, and I always want to be 30.
It's amazing. I'll tell you why, because and I'm writing about this a little from in my novel. I'm making the main character in her late 40s and early 50s, because it's sort of after the time where women, you know, in your 20s, you know, I mean, you know, no one knows what they want to do, where they're going with their life and all that. In their 30s, there's pressure as women to be like, pick the right man, find a boyfriend, find a husband, have kids, build a family, all at the same time, have a career and do all this. And then once you do that or decide not to do that, there's still the angst of doing all of that really lingers well into your 40s. By the time you're in your late 40s, and either like myself, I was widowed, but other friends that are divorced, and either other friends that are still married, there's such a sense of relief off your shoulder that, like, all of that stuff that society puts on us as women, like you've got to pick the perfect husband, you got to have kids, you got to have family, you got to have a career. It washes away, and women at that age are just like, their confidence seems it's just like we're more confident in the decisions we've made. There's less neuroses and angst about men and picking the right guy or having a guy. Most of the women I know are like, in various stages of being, living with a guy, married, but single, and they're all thrilled. My girlfriend just got divorced. She couldn't be happier. And, it's like, because you go through a lot of, there's a lot of pressure on women to make all these decisions at a fairly young age about family and husbands and children and balancing that with a career, that by the time you reach your late 40s, you've done it. And if you've made good decisions and you've worked hard and you've stayed the course, there's a time now where you can just like breathe again and just have fun and just feel like, wow, I've accomplished something. What people don't tell you about getting older is it's fun. It's fun to have all that knowledge and all that experience and just still be, and if you have your health and certainly with technology now, I think everyone kind of looks around 35.
Right.
It's
we can
really
keep this up for
time.
a long time. That's awesome. No, I think it's a good lesson to learn at a younger age and in a younger demographic where there's so much pressure of, authenticity and, what you look like when you post.
I can't hear you again.
Oh, no. It's so weird.
So weird.
Can you hear me now?
Ask it again.
No, I was just going to say, I think those sorts of lessons are so important now when there's so much pressure, not even from those societal things that still exist, but what social media brings into the picture and all that. So it's a great perspective for you to have, and you're a great role model for people who who want to build that life and have that independence and keep changing and sort of evolving.
I get a lot of flack on social media. Like, there's still mostly women. I would say 98% women that say, act your age, dress your age, and it's like, no, this is my age.
They're not as cool as you, those people.
But we got to stop doing that to other women, that men are not told to act their age, to dress their age, so it's just like, you still see it on social media. So.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I want to save some questions that I can ask you on March 7th in Saratoga, but we're so looking forward to meeting you in person. I hope we can go at least 2 buttons deep together, and we're looking forward for you to make your trip back upstate.
I know. Well, I always love to go. I always love to be in Saratoga. I love upstate.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Thanks, Carole. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Carole's a bad bitch, people. People don't realize they want to put a label on the housewives. They want to call them whatever their brand is as the Bravo TV star. But this woman is an award-winning journalist. She's won Emmys. She is a New York Times bestselling author. And in her late 50s is approaching this totally different act in her career. That's girl power for you.